The rain hammered against the window like it was trying to break in, and there I was, watching her eyes fill with tears that wouldn't fall. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered, her voice cracking just enough to slice through the silence. Before we continue, drop your city and time in the comments, and thanks for listening to my story. Now, back to the story. It was that look, the one that said everything we weren't supposed to say, the kind of glance that lingers too long, pulling at threads we both knew could unravel us. And in that moment, I felt it coming. The words that could shatter everything we'd built, hanging in the air like a storm about to break. You know those rainy afternoons in Chicago where the loop feels like it's drowning under gray skies? That's where it all started for Emily Carter and Jack Harlan. Emily's office was tucked into a narrow brick building on Michigan Avenue, the kind with creaky elevators and views of the L rattling by. She was a therapist, mid-30s, with that quiet strength that comes from listening to too many broken hearts. Her days were filled with notes on grief, trauma, the usual wreckage of life. But Jack, he walked in one Tuesday morning like a ghost who'd forgotten how to haunt. Jack was 28, a construction foreman from the South Side, built like he could lift the world but couldn't carry his own weight anymore. His wife, Sarah, had died 6 months back in a car wreck on I-90. Some drunk swerved into her lane coming home from her nursing shift. Jack showed up in Emily's office because his boss made him, said he was zoning out on the job, nearly got himself killed dangling from a scaffold. "I don't need to talk," he'd grumbled that first session, slouching in the armchair like it was a trap. But talk he did eventually. About the empty bed, the coffee mug still in the sink, the way the house smelled like her shampoo even now. Emily listened like she always did, nodded at the right times, asked the gentle questions that peeled back layers. "How does that make you feel, Jack?" she'd say, her voice soft like Midwest wind through cornfields. But something shifted in those early weeks. Maybe it was the way he described Sarah, not with anger, but with this raw, aching tenderness that made Emily's chest tighten. She'd lost her own fiancé years ago, to cancer, back in college at Northwestern. She never talked about it with clients, of course. Boundaries were her Bible. But Jack's pain mirrored hers in ways that crept under her skin. One session, about a month in, the rain was pouring outside, turning the city into a blur. Jack was staring at his hands, calloused from years on sites, and he said, "You know, Doc, sometimes I wake up and forget she's gone. Reach over like she's still there. Then it hits, and it's like falling off a building." Emily felt her throat close up. She leaned forward just a bit and murmured, "That emptiness. It's the hardest part to fill." Their eyes met, and for a second the room felt smaller, the air thicker. She pulled back, cleared her throat. "Tell me more about those mornings." But after he left, Emily sat there staring at the door. Her heart was racing, and not from the coffee. What was that? She shook it off, jotted notes, client showing progress in verbalizing loss. But deep down, she knew it was a lie. That look in his eyes, it wasn't just grief, it was recognition, like he saw her, really saw her, in a way no one had since college. Sessions blurred into a routine that felt anything but. Jack started opening up more, laughing even. A deep rumbling sound that filled the office like sunlight, breaking through clouds. He'd talk about dumb stuff, like how he burned every meal trying to cook Sarah's recipes, or the time he tried fixing his truck and ended up with grease everywhere. "I'm a mess, Doc," he'd say with a grin. "But hey, at least I'm not crying in the hardware store anymore." Emily found herself smiling back, genuinely. "Progress is progress, Jack." One crisp fall day, leaves swirling outside like confetti from a forgotten parade, Jack arrived early. Emily was finishing notes from her last client when he knocked. "Hey, sorry, traffic was light for once." He held out a coffee cup from the corner diner. "Figured you could use this. Black, right? Like you mentioned last time." She took it, their fingers brushing. Just a second, but enough to send a spark up her arm. "Thanks, Jack. That's thoughtful." He shrugged, but his eyes lingered. "Least I can do? You listen to my crap every week." That session dove deep. Jack talked about guilt, how he should have been the one driving that night, how he'd argued with Sarah about something stupid before she left. Tears came then, real ones, and Emily handed him tissues without a word. As he wiped his face, he looked up. You get it, don't you? I mean, really get it. She hesitated. Boundaries. But the words slipped out. I lost someone too, a long time ago. His eyes widened. I'm sorry. Boyfriend? Fiancé. The air hung heavy. Does it ever stop hurting? He asked. She shook her head. It changes, becomes part of you. After that, the lines blurred in tiny ways. A shared laugh over a Chicago Bears game recap, Jack teasing her for being a Cubs fan. Come on, Doc, Wrigley's got soul. She'd roll her eyes. Says the guy who roots for the Sox. Harmless, right? But Emily started noticing things. The way his flannel shirt hugged his shoulders, the faint scent of sawdust and soap when he leaned in. At night, alone in her Lakeview apartment, she'd replay sessions in her head. This is wrong, she'd think, staring at the ceiling. He's vulnerable. You're his therapist. Winter hit hard that year, snow blanketing the city like a cold shroud. Jack's sessions turned stormy. One evening, the wind howling off Lake Michigan, he stormed in late, coat dusted white. Sorry, Doc, shoveled the driveway 3 times today. He sat, but his leg bounced like a jackhammer. Nightmares again. Sarah's face, twisted in the wreck. Emily nodded, but her voice caught. Take your time. He looked at her, really looked. You ever have those? About your guy? She shouldn't have answered. Sometimes. The conversation veered. He talked about trying to date, a blind setup from a buddy. Disaster. Kept comparing her to Sarah. Emily felt a pang. Jealousy? No, couldn't be. But she said, it's okay to take it slow. He met her eyes. What if slow means never? What if I see someone else who gets me? The room went quiet, the clock ticking like a heartbeat. Emily's pulse raced. Jack, we should... But he cut in, soft. Emily. Not Doc. Her name. It hung there, electric. She ended the session early that day, citing a headache. But as he left, their hands touched again, longer this time. See you next week, he said, voice low. She nodded, but inside, alarms blared. This can't happen. Weeks passed, tension coiling like a spring. Emily consulted her supervisor anonymously. Hypothetical client attraction. The advice, refer out if it persists, but she didn't, couldn't. Jack was making progress, she'd tell herself. Truth was, she craved those hours, the way he made her feel alive again. One session, under the fluorescent hum, he confessed, You're the only one who doesn't look at me like I'm broken. She whispered, You're not. Their knees brushed under the table. Neither moved. Then came the breaking point. It was a Thursday, early spring, puddles reflecting the skyline. Jack arrived with flowers. Not for her, he said, but found him on the way, reminded me of Sarah's favorites. Lily's, Emily's too. She set them on the desk, hands trembling. The session started normal, but midway, he broke. I can't keep pretending, Emily. Her name again. Pretending what? But she knew. He stood, paced. This connection, it's not just therapy. Tell me I'm crazy. She rose too, heart pounding. Jack, this is unethical. I could lose everything. He stepped closer. And me? I'd lose the one person who sees me. The space between them shrank. His hand reached for hers. Their fingers intertwined, just for a breath. The world narrowed to that touch, warm, forbidden. Emily's mind screamed stop, but her heart whispered stay. And then, the door buzzer rang. Next client early. They pulled apart, breathless. We can't, she said. He nodded, eyes dark. But what if we do? The buzzer cut through the silence like a knife, and we jumped apart like teenagers caught behind the bleachers. My face burned, and Jack's hand dropped to his side, the lilies on the desk suddenly looking ridiculous. I opened the door to Mrs. Delgado, my 3 o'clock, who smiled politely and said, Am I early? Perfect timing, I lied, voice too bright. Jack brushed past me, muttering, See you next week, Doc. But his eyes said something else entirely. The door clicked shut. I stood there, heart slamming against my ribs, staring at the flowers. I should have thrown them out. Instead, I carried them to the sink, filled the vase with water, and set them on the windowsill where the late afternoon sun would catch their white petals. I told myself it was just a gesture, nothing more. But everything was more now. That night I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch in the dark, glass of Pinot untouched, replaying the moment his fingers closed around mine. The warmth, the certainty, the terror. I knew the rules. I'd written them in my grad school ethics paper. The therapeutic relationship is sacred. Any breach is exploitation. I'd underlined it twice, and yet here I was, a grown woman in her 30s, staring at my phone, waiting for a text that would never come because he knew better than to cross that line again. Or so I thought. 2 days later, Friday, my phone buzzed at 11:47 p.m. Unknown number. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I stared at the screen until it went dark. Then I typed back, fingers shaking. You're right. We can't. His reply came in seconds. I know, but neither of us deleted the thread. The next session was agony. He walked in wearing the same navy Carhartt jacket, same worn work boots, but he wouldn't look at me. Sat down, elbows on knees, staring at the carpet. Jack, I started, voice steady even though my stomach was in knots. He shook his head. Don't. Please. The room felt smaller than ever. I thought about canceling, he said finally, but I didn't want you to think I was running. I'm glad you came, I said, and it sounded too soft, too honest. He lifted his eyes then, and the look in them nearly broke me. I'm not trying to ruin your life, Emily. I don't know how to stop feeling this. I swallowed hard. Neither do I. We sat in silence for almost 10 minutes, two people who knew exactly what the other was thinking, and neither brave enough to say it out loud. Finally, I spoke. If we keep going like this, I have to refer you to someone else. That's the only ethical choice. His jaw tightened. You think I want to start over with some stranger? Tell them about Sarah, about the nightmares, about this? He gestured between us. I'd rather quit therapy altogether. You can't quit healing because it's inconvenient. And you can't quit feeling something just because there's a rule book. I looked away, out the window at the gray lake and the boats that looked like toys from this height. I'm scared, I admitted, so quietly I wasn't sure he heard. He leaned forward. Of what? Of losing my license, of hurting you, of being the reason you stopped trusting people. He let out a slow breath. You're not going to be the reason I stopped trusting. You're the reason I started again. The words landed like stones in still water. I stood up. Jack, we have to stop this session early. I can't. He stood too, faster than I expected. Don't refer me yet. Give me 1 more week. Let me think. Let me figure out how to live with this without dragging you down with me. I looked at him. Really looked. The stubble on his jaw, the faint scar above his left eyebrow from a fall off a ladder years ago, the way his shoulders carried the weight of a life that had been ripped open and never quite stitched back together. Okay, I whispered. 1 week. He nodded once, grabbed his coat, and left without another word. That week was hell. I saw clients, wrote notes, went to yoga, met friends for drinks at the Violet Hour, laughed at their stories. But every quiet moment, every red light on Lakeshore Drive, every time I passed a construction site and heard the clang of steel, I thought of him. I thought of the way he said my name. I thought of the lilies still on my windowsill, petals starting to curl at the edges. Friday came. He didn't show. No call, no text, nothing. I sat in my office for the full hour, staring at the empty chair, feeling the absence like a physical thing. When the hour ended, I locked the door, turned off the lights, and went home. I cried in the shower, long, ugly sobs that echoed off the tile. I told myself it was better this way, cleaner, safer, but it didn't feel better. It felt like losing someone all over again. 2 weeks later, I was walking down Michigan Avenue, scarf wrapped tight against the wind, when I saw him. He was standing outside the Bean, Cloudgate, whatever, watching tourists take selfies. He had his hands in his pockets, collar up, looking smaller somehow. I could have kept walking. I should have. Instead, I stopped. He felt me before he saw me, turned slowly. Our eyes met across the crowd, and the whole city went quiet. He walked over, boots crunching on salt and snow. "Hey," he said, voice rough. "Hey." We stood there like strangers who used to know everything about each other. "I didn't cancel because I didn't want to see you," he said. "I canceled because I didn't trust myself to sit in that chair and not touch you." I nodded, throat tight. "I've been thinking," he went on, "about what happens if we keep doing this the wrong way. I lose you. You lose everything you worked for, and we both end up hating ourselves." I felt tears sting my eyes. Yeah. But I also thought about what happens if we do this the right way. I looked up. He took a breath. "I stop being your client. You refer me to someone else. I do the work. And then, maybe someday when the timing isn't a grenade, we see if this is real." My heart tripped. "You'd do that?" I asked. "For you?" "Yeah, I'd do that." I searched his face looking for doubt. I didn't find any. "It could take months," I said. "Years, maybe." "I know. And there's no guarantee." He gave me the smallest, saddest smile. "Nothing worth having comes with a guarantee, Emily." I let out a shaky breath. "Okay," I whispered. He nodded. Then he reached out, slow, like he was afraid I'd bolt. His fingers brushed my cheek just once, thumb grazing the corner of my mouth. "I'm gonna miss those Tuesday mornings," he said. "Me too." He stepped back. "Take care of yourself, Doc." "You too, Jack." He turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd near the bean, hands back in his pockets, shoulders straight. I stood there until the cold started to hurt. Then I walked home. I made the referral the next morning. A colleague I trusted, someone good, someone who wasn't me. Jack accepted the transfer without argument. We didn't speak again for 8 months. Then, one August evening, my phone buzzed. A text from a number I'd memorized even though I'd deleted it. "Hey, I finished my last session today. Thought you should know I'm okay. Really okay. And I still think about you every damn day." I stared at the screen, heart hammering. I typed back, "I think about you too." His reply was instant. "Coffee? No pressure, just coffee." I smiled for the first time in months. Yeah, just coffee. We met at a little place on Clark Street, the kind with mismatched chairs and fairy lights strung across the ceiling. He looked different. Still him, still broad-shouldered and quiet, but lighter somehow, like he'd finally exhaled. I looked different too, less guarded, less afraid. We talked for hours, about Sarah, about my fiancé, about the nightmares that still came sometimes, about the work we'd both done to get here. When the barista started stacking chairs, we stepped outside into the warm night. The city hummed around us, cars, laughter, distant sirens. Jack looked at me. "No more rules," he asked. "No more rules," I said. He reached for my hand. This time I didn't pull away. Our fingers laced together, slow, deliberate, like we were learning how to hold on again. We walked down Clark, past the bookstores and the pizza joints, past the people living their lives, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was carrying something heavy alone. We didn't rush. We dated, slowly, carefully. We fought sometimes about dumb things like whose turn it was to pick the movie. We made up. We laughed. We cried. We built something real out of the ashes of what we'd lost. And somewhere along the way, I realized the truth I'd been running from. Love doesn't always win the way we want it to. Sometimes it wins by teaching us how to survive losing it first. Sometimes it wins by waiting, by asking us to be better, by changing us forever, even if we never get the fairy tale ending. Jack and I didn't get the fairy tale. We got something better. We got each other, scarred, honest, and finally free. And that, I think, is the only story worth telling.